admiration, and the air was thick with suspense. Finally, she lowered her claws slightly, just enough to show that she was watching, not attacking. Her sons crawled gently toward her, tiny hands reaching out. Their trust in both her and the human amazed her. The queen's voice broke the silence, deep and powerful, yet softer than before. "Who are you to protect my children so boldly?" she demanded. The human replied calmly, "I only want them safe, nothing more." And those simple words struck her. They were not fear, not challenge, but honesty. And the queen felt a strange respect forming. The first contact had been made, not with violence, but with understanding, and a new chapter was about to begin. The alien queen hovered above the human and her children, her massive form casting a shadow across the small room. Her anger had not disappeared, but something new tugged at her mind, a strange curiosity she could not ignore. She had always ruled with power, with fear, and with strength. But here, before this human, she felt something she rarely experienced, doubt and wonder. Her sons were awake now, blinking at her, their small hands resting on the human's chest. They had been safe, and yet they looked to their mother for guidance, unsure whether to run to her or stay with the human who had protected them. The queen studied them closely, her eyes softening for the first time in days. She realized that courage came in many forms, not only in strength and fire. The human stayed calm, meeting her gaze without fear. Their voice was quiet but firm. "They are safe with me, I promise," they said. The honesty in those words struck the queen. No trick, no threat, only care. She tilted her head, watching closely as her sons reached out tentatively, testing the space between her and this strange being. It was a moment of fragile trust, and the queen knew it could break at any second. The eldest son crawled closer to the queen, then paused, glancing at the human. The youngest nestled closer to the human's chest, small fingers clutching the soft fabric of their clothing. The queen's heart clenched, seeing how her children could trust both worlds at once. She took a slow step forward, her claws barely touching the floor, careful not to frighten them. "Why do you protect them?" she asked, her voice deep but softer than before. The human replied simply, "Because they are alive, because they matter, and because no one should be afraid when they are small and helpless." The queen considered this, remembering her own childhood, the warmth of family, the fear of loss. She had conquered planets, fought battles, and ruled with an iron will, but she had never felt this kind of respect for another being. A silence filled the room, broken only by the soft breathing of her sons. The queen's anger slowly melted into understanding, yet she remained cautious, aware that trust had to be earned. Slowly, carefully, she lowered herself, her wings folding around her as if to protect, not threaten. Her sons moved closer, their small bodies brushing against her legs, sensing her change. The human remained still, calm and patient, giving space, yet offering safety. The queen realized that her sons were learning something important here, a lesson about courage, kindness, and connection. The fragile bond forming in this room was stronger than many armies, stronger than her power. It was the bond of trust, and it had the power to change everything. For the first time since their disappearance, the queen felt hope rather than fury. She watched her sons as they laughed softly, exploring the new world around them with gentle curiosity. The human had earned her attention, her respect, even if it was only temporary. The queen knew the situation was delicate. Every second counted, and the wrong move could destroy this fragile connection. She spoke finally, her voice low and commanding, yet gentle. "I will allow this." For now, her sons looked up at her, relief and wonder in their eyes. They knew they were safe, but also that their mother was learning, watching, and understanding. The room was quiet, full of tension, yet warmth spread slowly between alien and human, between mother and children. A fragile bond had formed, a connection that could change the future of both worlds. The queen's eyes softened, and for the first time, she wondered if strength could come from understanding, rather than fear. The calm was temporary, but it was enough to plant a seed, and the next challenge would soon arrive. The alien queen's massive form hovered silently over the chamber, her claws flexing with restrained power. She had allowed her sons to remain with the human, but her mind was sharp, every sense alert. She could not ignore the possibility of danger, not for herself, not for her children. Every instinct screamed that control must be maintained, yet curiosity and caution held her back. Her sons moved quietly between the human and her, small hands brushing against both. Their trust was fragile, yet it surprised her with its strength. They had experienced fear, yet here they felt safe. They had slept through the chaos of the past days, but now, awake, they tested their choices, testing her patience, and perhaps even hers. The humans stood firm, meeting her gaze without flinching. There was no fear in their eyes, only calm, steady confidence. A challenge, but not one of aggression. The queen's fury swirled, a storm contained within her, ready to explode at the slightest sign of threat. Yet she hesitated, watching the courage and care of this single being. "Step back," she commanded, her voice low and resonant. The human did not move, only kept the children close. "They are safe," they said simply. "Nothing more will happen." The words were calm, honest, and powerful. They carried weight beyond any weapon, beyond any fleet, beyond even the queen's own command. The queen's eyes narrowed, her wings fluttering with quiet tension. She could feel her rage pushing against her reason, urging her to strike, yet reason, curiosity, and the unexpected trust of her sons held her back. It was a delicate balance, the edge of a blade. One wrong move could destroy everything, and she knew it. The sons looked at her, small eyes wide, unsure, yet they were brave, their tiny hands steady. They trusted both mother and human, and in that trust, the queen saw something profound, something she had not felt before: connection, understanding, and respect. She realized that strength was not only in power and control, but also in trust, in care, in courage shown in the quiet moments. Her claws slowly relaxed, the tension leaving her shoulders in small increments. She stepped closer, lowering her voice. "I see now. Your strength is different," she admitted. Her gaze softened slightly, and the human's calm eyes did not waver. They had passed the test, not by fighting, but by standing firm, by caring, by showing courage in the face of fear. A soft hum of energy filled the room as her sons pressed closer to the human, feeling safe and loved. The queen observed, silent, calculating, and understanding. Her anger had not vanished completely, but it had shifted, transformed into respect. The human had earned it, and in doing so, he had earned a place in the delicate balance of her world. Finally, she spoke again, her voice firm yet gentle. "You will keep them safe, and I will not interfere." For now, the human nodded, silently, fully aware of the unspoken power that surrounded them. The sons smiled softly, sensing peace between their mother and the human. A fragile, tentative peace, but peace nonetheless. The room was quiet, yet charged with energy, a new understanding woven between alien and human, between mother and child. The queen's gaze lingered on the human, considering the future, considering what could be learned from this fragile connection. Strength could come in many forms, she realized, even from beings she had once thought weak. The first real test was over, but the consequences of this meeting would ripple far beyond this quiet chamber. The bond had formed, tentative yet real, and the final step, trust fully earned, was almost within reach. The queen looked down at her sons, their tiny forms nestled close, and whispered softly, "We have survived this, together." The calm before the storm, the alien queen floated above her shining throne, her many eyes scanning the stars, her mind calm but alert. She was proud of her sons, 3 young aliens full of energy and curiosity. They were her greatest joy and the future of her powerful race. Today, like every day, she watched them play in the crystal gardens of her palace. Their laughter echoed through the air, a sound so rare and precious in a galaxy filled with conflict. Her sons were adventurous, always exploring places that others dared not enter. The youngest one, small but clever, climbed the towers of the palace without fear. The middle son loved to run through the gardens, chasing strange, glowing creatures. The eldest, strong and wise, followed them closely, keeping a careful eye on their safety. The queen smiled, proud of their energy and courage. She felt safe knowing her children were growing strong and clever, ready to face the universe. But a sudden chill passed through the air, faint and almost unnoticeable. Her senses tingled as if something had changed in the balance of her world. The laughter of her sons stopped abruptly, replaced by silence. The queen's many eyes narrowed, scanning the gardens, searching for any sign of them. But the spaces were empty, no movement, no sound. only the faint shimmer of the crystal plants swaying in the wind. Her heart raced, a feeling she rarely experienced. The children had vanished, disappeared in an instant. She called for her guards, her voice loud and commanding. It echoed through the palace and beyond. "Find them, now!" she roared. Her voice shook the walls, and even the distant stars seemed to tremble. Every scout and watcher activated immediately, searching the gardens, the towers, the crystal forests, even the hidden tunnels beneath the palace. Minutes passed, then hours, and still no sign of the sons. The queen's anger grew, a deep, fiery rage that spread through her mind and body. She had faced enemies, conquerors, and storms in the galaxy. But this fear of losing her own children was worse than any battle. The palace trembled slightly as her fury grew. Her claws scraped the floor of her throne chamber, leaving marks in the polished crystal. Outside, the stars seemed to reflect her rage, flashing strangely as if warning the universe that the alien queen was in fury. She thought of every possible danger: pirates, rogue hunters, even natural disasters, but nothing could explain the sudden disappearance of her sons. The queen felt a strange unease, a tiny whisper in her mind that suggested someone or something had taken them. Yet she could not leave her throne, not yet, not until she knew more. Her children were precious, and she would not rest until they were found. The silence of the palace pressed on her like a heavy cloak. Her mind raced with plans, each more desperate than the last. The young aliens had always been brave, but this time, even their courage might not be enough. Then, from the corner of her many eyes, she saw it, a faint shimmer, almost invisible, moving far away, beyond her palace, beyond her world. It was small, soft, and unfamiliar, but it pulsed with a life she recognized immediately. Her children were out there, somewhere, waiting to be found. The queen's fury mixed with hope, and she prepared herself, ready to unleash her power across the galaxy. She would not fail. Not now, not ever. The calm of the palace was gone, replaced by tension and the promise of action. The alien queen roared once more, louder than the sound of 1,000 storms. Her sons were missing, but they were alive, somewhere, and she would find them. Search across the galaxy. The alien queen left her throne, her powerful wings cutting through the empty corridors of her palace. Every step she took sent vibrations through the crystal floors, announcing her fury and determination. Her scouts, loyal and skilled, hovered near her, ready for orders. "Search every world, every star, every shadow," she commanded. Her voice was firm, cold, and full of authority. Each word carried the weight of her rage, and none dared to hesitate. The scouts spread across the galaxy, moving faster than the speed of light. They combed the asteroid belts, explored the gas giants, and even probed the dangerous black zones where no life survived. But everywhere they looked, there was nothing. No trace of the young aliens. The queen felt frustration rising. It burned like fire in her chest. Her sons were clever, but they were still young, still small, and danger lurked in every corner of the universe. Meanwhile, the queen's mind raced with possibilities. Could it be a rival race, jealous of her power? Or pirates, seeking valuable captives? Maybe a cosmic storm had carried them away. She could not accept uncertainty. The children were hers, and nothing could take them without consequence. She sharpened her senses, reaching out across space, feeling the faintest echoes of life, small and fragile, but unmistakably familiar. Her eldest scout reported back, "Queen, we find no life on the outer planets, no signals in the nebulae." Each report increased the tension. Each failure made her claws dig deeper into the crystal rails of her ship. She refused to allow panic to control her, but inside, fear crept, silently, a fear she rarely felt, the fear of losing her children forever. Then, a whisper came from the edge of her perception. Faint, soft, but alive. It was unlike anything in her galaxy, neither energy of the stars nor the pulse of her own world. It was different, small, and unfamiliar, something alive, delicate, yet strong in its own way. The queen tilted her head, focusing all her senses on this new signal. Could it be her children, she wondered, or something else entirely? She gave orders to follow the energy, her ship slicing through the darkness like a blade. Time seemed to stretch as she chased the faint glimmer across light years of space. The stars blurred past, and her mind stayed sharp, ready for anything. Every shadow could hide enemies, traps, or surprises. The queen's fury became controlled, precise, a weapon ready to strike. Hours passed, then days, as she followed the trail. Each new world offered hope, then disappointment, yet the pulse grew stronger. Clearer, it was still alive, still moving. She sensed her children close, their energy hidden but real. She could almost feel their small hearts beating, their breaths soft and calm. It gave her strength, and she did not slow. She did not rest. Finally, the trail led to a small, quiet planet, not known for danger or war, a human world, peaceful and strange to her eyes. The energy signal was strongest here, soft and gentle, almost tender. Unlike anything in her galaxy, this planet held something new, something she did not understand, yet it was connected to her children. Her fury and fear combined with curiosity, a new emotion she rarely experienced. The queen hovered above the planet, watching, listening, waiting. Somewhere below, her sons were alive, but the humans had them, protecting them, caring for them, perhaps without knowing what they truly held. The queen's roar shook the skies above, yet her heart held hope. She was close now. The calm before the final confrontation was over, and the real challenge was about to begin. The alien queen hovered silently above the quiet human settlement, her massive wings folding gracefully, yet every muscle in her body was tense with fury. She could feel the energy of her sons below, safe, small, and surprisingly calm. But they were not with her, not yet, and that anger burned hotter than ever. Her eyes narrowed as she searched the area, scanning for the source of this strange protection. Below her, the human moved carefully through a small chamber. Unaware of the immense presence above, the children lay asleep on the human's chest, their tiny bodies rising and falling with steady breaths. The human's hands rested gently on them, protecting them as if they were precious treasures. And, in a way, they were, though the alien queen could not fully understand the human. She could sense the care, and it confused her. The queen landed lightly, her feet touching the ground without a sound. Her shadow stretched across the floor, and the human finally looked up, eyes wide with shock and awe. For a moment, time seemed to stop. The human stared at her, unsure what to do, and the queen stared back, her eyes filled with power, rage, and something else, curiosity. She studied the human, noticing the courage it took to stay calm despite her presence. The human did not flee, did not attack, but kept the children safe, almost as if they belonged to them. The queen felt an unfamiliar twinge in her chest. Could this being truly protect her sons better than she could? Even for a moment, the thought made her claws flex. Yet it also made her pause. Her sons began to stir, sensing their mother. Their eyes opened slowly, tiny pupils blinking in the dim light. They looked between the human and the queen, unsure of what to do. Their small voices called out, soft and hesitant, "Mother." Their mother's heart clenched at the sound. But her rage had not vanished entirely. The situation was delicate, every moment a chance for disaster. The queen took a slow step forward, her presence massive and commanding. The human shifted, slightly, keeping the children close, but instead of fear, there was calm in their eyes, a quiet bravery that startled the queen. She had conquered planets, fought entire armies, yet this single human held a power different from any weapon: care, love, and courage. She could sense it radiating in waves, stronger than any force she had ever faced. A tense silence filled the room, broken only by the soft breathing of her sons. Every second stretched longer, the queen's mind racing with possibilities. Could she take them back by force, as her instincts demanded, or could she trust this strange creature who had kept them safe? Her rage fought with